Hello ladies and gentlemen, Panzer here, and welcome to Let It Die. This is a game that's just popped up on PS4 at the moment, and if I sound a little bit further away or a little bit different, that's because I have to play this on the PS4 and it's on a different screen, so stuff has to be moved around and it doesn't quite sound the way it should. However, I've been playing this game today, and I've got about like 2 to 3 hours into it. Not very far, but it's really enjoyable, and I wanted to kind of show it off, because this is not just like a PlayStation Plus free game. No, this is a free-to-play game. And it's got a lot of elements of other games in it, and I'm going to talk you through it. But this is our character here. This is Daphne. The names are randomly generated, and this is how she appears most of the time. And it's not because, you know, I like looking at her body or because she's got a bit of her ass hanging out. No, the way the game plays, you don't, whether you play as a male or female character, you don't get a lot of equipment, and equipment doesn't last very long. So this is basically how you see them most of the time. Now, they have these little tube hole things all over their bodies, kind of like what it's you see in the Matrix, and that's because that's how they interface with like different machines and stuff. So this is set in a sort of post-apocalyptic Tokyo, on an island that broke off after an earthquake, and the earthquake continued until this tower essentially rose up. That's the story, and it's a roguelike. Yeah, it's a roguelike, to a certain degree. Or it has roguelike elements anyway. But there's a lot of elements in this game that you're going to see from a lot of other games, from games like Lollipop Chainsaw, in terms of its art style, Borderlands, I guess you could say so. It's a very graphic novel. And it's also got a lot of Souls elements in it as well. And then there's the roguelike side of things. So this is the main hub area over here. And the game is very self-aware. It has a certain, I guess, yeah, it breaks the fourth wall pretty often. Like, it knows it's a game. Like, you are actually in a game. If I go up here, I'll just head back up. We're actually in an arcade. Let the textures pop in a little bit there. And you can see there are a couple of characters here to interact with as well. There's stuff to do outside of the game, and it's quite literally outside of the game. So this guy over here is somebody who's like apparently a pro gamer. I'm gonna say glamour. I don't know what a glamour is, but yeah. This guy's Uncle Death. He runs the Let It Die game within the game. And then there's a little, I don't know what this is actually. It's a little secret sort of thing. And then there's couple of other characters here as well. This is a girl that runs the counter here as well, and there's, I think that's a radio? Have a look. Yep, it's a radio. So I think we can choose the music that plays. But yeah, if we want to go back into the game, we just talk to Uncle Death here. And
I thought you were dead or something.
Skip through and back into the game. So let's just get into it here. This guy is where you get your equipment from, so you can actually buy equipment if you have enough currency for it. Talk to him. There is a little bit of a texture streaming issue with the PS4. I'm not entirely sure. It's probably better on the PS4 Pro. But at the moment we don't have anything here to unlock, because we have to find blueprints for things in order to craft them. Blueprints and materials, rather, in order to craft them, and then we can buy them from him here. We can also sell items to him here. The other shop right here is the mushroom lady. Yeah. Let's talk to her. She does this little dance. But what she sells are actually perks. So these are little decals that you can get on the character, and they work for one life only. The game sort of has a permadeath element, sort of. And these will give you special perks. So you can choose, if you have enough currency like we have now, we can actually do that now. This will apply a decal to the body, and then you get a little trait. Or you can swap them out here as well, and you can buy a mushroom stew. I don't quite know what the stew does, but it's quite expensive. In fact, it costs more than we actually have, like, capacity we have available. And this guy over here is how you level up. So this is the leveling up machine. So we just plug in, and then we can pick our perks to level up. When we don't have an XP with us, you lose all XP that you have when your character dies. Now, I said there was a permadeath element to this game. It's not really permadeath. Oh, and then there's this. Every 20 minutes, Uncle Death gives you a special sort of equipment drop, which you can use to start your run with. Shall we get on with it? Let's go into the game, and I'll talk more about how it goes along. I do like the loading screens. Like, the way the loading screens are done. Like, that's Uncle Death on a skateboard. You see him... You get introduced to him during the tutorial levels, and he has a certain personality to him. The loading screens look like this. You're going up an escalator. Or in an elevator. Like, there is something happening, like, that explains why this loading screen is here, even though the game knows it's a game. It's very strange. But yes, that's a loading screen. So now we're in Ikagara. Bizarrely, this game is not available on PlayStation Asia. It's, I'm actually using an NA PSN account that I have to play this. So it's not available on PlayStation Asia. I think it's available on PlayStation Europe, but I think that's it. So this is the first floor. And yeah, roguelike elements in the sense that you replay the levels until you reach the end, and I think there's a treasure at the end of the... like, at the top of the tower, and that's basically what we're trying to reach. So let's get on here. So the floors seem to be a static layout, but the enemies and the... well, some of the enemies and the actual stuff that drops on the ground is randomly generated. That's what I was going for. So this is a tough shroom over here. So there are two types of consumables in this. There are mushrooms, like that. Tough shrooms give us a defense bonus. I think there's another one up here somewhere. And then there are beasts. So there is this frog here. We have to sneak up on him to catch him, or we can kill him and he'll drop something else instead. So I'm going to catch him for now. We can choose to eat them straight away, or we can keep them in our inventory. But interestingly enough, this would stomp him and kill him. Catch him again. Hey. Come here, you. Or show you this here. If we go into our bag, I don't think it shows it here actually, I think it's in the Rolodex. So if we go over to, yeah, mushroom collection, so you can actually see there's a cooked effect. So if you find fire on the ground, you can actually throw these beasts, or you can see for the frog it's the same. There's an effect when it's cooked. You can actually throw them into fire, and that will give you the cook effect. Of course, you want to be very careful with your throws because you can set yourself on fire very easily, and fire burns for a very long time. So you definitely don't want to do that. Oh, we found a weapon very early on. So you might have noticed the equip screen. This uses the D-pad. So you can immediately just put it into one of your hands. Now, there are one-handed and two-handed weapons, and they're controlled on the left and right triggers. So this Magnum here is a right-handed weapon, or rather a two-handed weapon. So even if I put it in my left hand, it'll go into the right hand. Like that. It's very strange. You would think that left-handed shooting would be a thing, but no, apparently two-handed weapons can only be in the right hand. So if we hold down left trigger, instead it'll aim. So that's a two-handed weapon. Now, there is a lock-on mechanic in this game, very similar to Dark Souls, so demonstrate it here. Yep, we have some enemies. So if I just push in the right stick, you can see that now I'm locked onto this guy. But it doesn't lock the camera. Like, I can still look around, but my character will be facing that, which is very, very odd. I don't quite know why they've done that, because like I would like the option to be able to flick between them without having to unlock. Like, you have to actually aim the camera at them to lock on, which is very, very weird. But with this, with ranged weapons, we can just fire. It's got its own accuracy when you sort of do that, but if you want to aim like this, then you can just aim. But basically what actually happens is when you... I guess when you lock on, you have a chance of hitting, as opposed to manually aiming. And manually aiming is harder, but you can guarantee yourself a chance of actually hitting the thing you're aiming at. So there's a trade-off. Alright, let's sneak up, grab this frog. I'm going to keep these frogs, because they're useful sort of health, basically. Just basic food items that give you health. Alright, so let's get a move on. We can actually go back and level up now. So, one of the biggest problems with this game right now is just the way that you travel back and forth between the hub world. There's no fast travel system or anything like that, so you do just actually have to run back. I haven't found another way of doing it, which is easier. How I just missed that. Oh yeah, then there's no reload button. I have checked, I can't find a way of reloading manually. It just seems to just do it. Let's just switch weapons here. Now, melee combat is a little more interesting than ranged combat, I find. There's a lot of melee weapons you can find. Everything has a durability. Even, like, ooh, okay, there's two of them here. So, that one there has a cutter, which will stun lock us. It doesn't do a lot of damage at once, but it stun locks you, and that's the biggest problem. So, you can actually be hit quite badly with that. I'm just going to sprint away for a sec, give us a little bit more distance here. Now we can block, but it's very difficult to do it. You do have to time it exactly right. Alright, time to probably back away, I think. Yeah. So that's one issue there, is that you can just get stun locked very, very easily for something like that. Okay. Finish them off with that. Would help if I locked on. Oh god, this is bad. Come on, finish her off. There we go. So there are also, yeah, weapon drops that you can get. I'm gonna put that in that hand. Thing. Yeah, that's probably not the most ideal one. But there's also a rage mode, so if we hold down triangle, you can see the little blue fire there, and if we do any attack with that, it'll sort of empower that attack, which is quite useful as well. Oh, we've got ourselves a bit of armor. So, armor itself has... Yeah, we actually have a bit of clothing now for once. But armor itself has durability, so it'll break if you take too many hits, and it does go down very, very quickly. Now, this right here, you might have seen that pop up there with level 25. This is how death works in this game. So if you remember, if you played Dark Souls, you'll know that if you die, you have to go and collect your souls again. Oh, let's put that on. We got a little bit more armor again. You have to go and find the bloodstain and collect your souls again. In this, your character stays on the level and becomes an enemy. And that is a problem because it also becomes an enemy for other players. So you have a chance of getting an enemy that might be a much higher level than you. Now, it's an interesting way of handling the game because you don't want to progress too far where your own fighter becomes so strong that you can't actually beat them. Like, you don't want that to happen. Like, if they become so strong that you can't beat them, you'll never be able to retrieve them again, and that's effectively a dead character. Like, it's a lost character to you. But in the case where... I don't know how frequently this will happen, but if somebody chooses to deliberately die in a starting area, they could actually end up just leaving that there and then no one be able to progress through it. I can just run past him. Like, in typical sort of Dark Souls fashion, you can just bypass the enemies. But these enemies are particularly tough. You do get a bonus for killing them, though, so there is a point to doing it. But also, if you have inactive characters, because you can have up to 3 characters at one time, if you have inactive characters, you can send them against other players as well. You can actually hunt down other players, and that will actually give you a chance of getting more characters there. I just did a drop kick. I've never actually been able to land one of those, and suddenly I can. But you can see there, if you miss that, yeah, good luck. You're gonna get hit by basically everybody. So that's not. Let's not be here. Gonna run through. I don't want my stamina to run out there. So I'm gonna run to here. This is the elevator, which will let us get back to the waiting room, but I don't think we can use it when we're under attack like this. So that's a problem. So let's fight them. And back away, back away, back away. I backed myself into a corner, and this is how I die. Pretty much. Yeah. This is how I die. No, stop locking on. Right. I need to finish them off really quickly. These are a lot of level 1 enemies, but yeah, they're pretty dangerous. Uh-oh. We're out of ammo. You can see my durability for my armor is flashing right now as well as that weapon, which just got destroyed now. So that's always great. This gun is out of ammo. Okay, so let's finish this guy. So we can combo up moves as well. If you have like one-handed weapons, you can actually combo them together to get some interesting effects. Let's say, like for example, that sword that I was using earlier is very good for stunning enemies for a brief period with a couple of repeated hits. I would say, like successive hits. That's very useful for that. And then you can combo that with something like this hammer here, which does a lot of like one-hit damage, or a lot of burst damage. Like, it's very slow, but it does a lot of damage in a single hit. I'm gonna eat a frog. I think that would be useful in this case. Oh, there's an enemy down there. So we can actually demonstrate this now. So we have this iron, which is an interesting weapon, because it's one of the few melee weapons that uses ammo. So let's just try and use that with them. That'll burn them. And, oh, there's that player over there. Yep, they're coming for me. That's not good. I don't think I'll be able to get away from them now. They also have better equipment than I do, so that's nice to see. So I'm gonna have to try and fight them. So this is... They are using the fireworks launchers, so they are ranged, which means, of course, they are going to one-shot me. But yeah, that is kind of how you do it. And now, we get on, finally, to the free-to-play element of this game, which is this girl right here, who represents, I believe, Death Hell, or something like that. It's an insurance company. It's... Yeah, you can even see the death readout right there of how, what killed us. But, yeah, using these little skulls, which are called death metals, you can actually pay to revive. And that's basically how it's done. But it's a very odd way of doing it. So I'm just going to use one now. So this will revive us right here and allow us to continue. So if you have a lot of good loot that you want to bring back, you can do that. Which will allow your future runs to be a lot more easily done. And you get this sort of like invulnerability period. But I'm going to leave that one there. If you like this game, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you're new to the channel. And let me know down in the comments what you think. And if you want to see more of this, be sure to let me know. My name is Panzer. Thank you very much for watching. And I'll see you next time.